change. It is the first change of the second half, but not the first the change of the game. Here's Alex Crook on the touchline.
Yeah, and it's Saleh Kaikai who has been warming up throughout the duration of the half-time break, who's come on. Andros Townsend is the man whose number is up. You wonder if perhaps he's picked up a knock in the first half, or is Roy Hodgson almost admitting this game is dead and we'll save him for the Premier League. Kaikai's an interesting one because he actually had a loan spell back in 2014 down at Crawley Town, not too far from here.
Yeah. And I think we asserted that in that first half Townsend did pick up an injury, didn't we, Stuart?
Well, there was a couple of times sort of mid-half that I saw him semi-limping, but at the end of the half I thought he was okay. So,
well, he picked up an injury, if you remember, when Schlupp was substituted. Just before that, he picked up a bit of a knock, didn't he? And I think maybe you can't take any gambles. It's something that actually Roy Hodgson was saying. He said, look, I'm not going to gamble on the fitness of my players. We're not in a position where we can put all our eggs into this basket of trying to get to an FA Cup final or trying to get to win the FA Cup. We've got a lot of broken eggs, he said, so we have to balance these things across two competitions. And a few eggs have cracked here at the Amex Stadium in the first half. We've lost Brown, Schlupp and now Townsend. So 3 changes across both teams have been made in the opening 45 minutes, and the second half starts with Brighton in blue and white stripes and blue shorts, shooting from right to left, and all in black. Crystal Palace attacking the goal where their fans are behind, away to our right hand side. I'll go through the 2-11s as they stand in just a moment, but here is Bong for Brighton and Hove Albion, sending the ball into Kayal down the left, where it's picked up in the wing position by Baldock, who sent it across the face of goal. Well, Bong sent it across the face of goal, and Hemed turned, and I think Solly March was in there too, and they fired.
There, got himself in a decent position just beyond the penalty spot, and just got his technique wrong, basically leaning backwards, as you said.
Well, the Seagulls have progressed to the 4th round of the FA Cup in 7 of the last 8 campaigns, falling at the 3rd round stage only in 2015-16 when they were beaten by Hull City. And Chris Hughton knows the value of the FA Cup. He was a winner as a player with Tottenham in 1981 and 82. Here come Palace down the right hand side looking for an equaliser. It's picked up by MacArthur from Johan Kabai's ball. The Frenchman has returned it back to MacArthur in the right wing position. It's touched on and then given back to Kabai inside the area, slides it forward. Sacco was a little bit too deep, wasn't really making the run that Kabai was expected. It's cleared away by Brighton, and Hemed picks it up on this near side. Ball is out of play and away for a throw-in down by the touchline. I think the referee is taking charge of this game with a bit more confidence because of the fallback and the feedback he's getting from the VAR?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, you know, the officials are very professional these days, and they want to come away with personal pride that they've done a really good job, and whatever they do, if they need some assistance, and it's a whole team game, isn't it, for both teams plus the assistants as well, to come away and know that they've done a thorough job and got all the decisions right.
We're on the halfway line, 3 minutes gone in the second half, and Crystal Palace have possession, looking to try and get back in the game. And they trail by a goal to nil. The goal scored by Dale Stephens in the 26th minute, and having seen it again, I still think that Wayne Hennessy will be incredibly disappointed when he looks at it back tonight. In fact, I don't think he'll wait that long before being disappointed. Here's Izquierdo on halfway. It goes down the left-hand side on the outside of MacArthur. A little trip from behind, free kick is given, and he was just threatening to escape away from MacArthur there. Izquierdo, Colombian, darting forward at rapid pace. There was a collision on halfway involving Gaetan Bong on this near side and Kaikai, and the referee didn't see that to be a foul. Izquierdo's eventual felling by MacArthur certainly was, and the free kick has been given for Brighton, 15 yards inside Palace territory, and Solly marches over it. He clips it towards the far post. It's over the head of everyone. Goldson thought that maybe Stevens was behind him. He wasn't. He left it. It goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side, and that was a bit of a waste.
I've got to say, Sam, I'll be a little bit disappointed if we don't have a bit of VAR tonight, won't you? If we go through the whole evening without... I want to see the process.
At half-time, I did go into a little area and say to one of our colleagues, is it only me who wants to see some sort of mistake so we can get a little bit of VAR? And everyone was like, yeah, that'd be great. So I think we all want to see it. Yeah, I think because we want to see it in action. I don't want to see the process of it. I don't want Andre Mariner to make a mistake, but what I do want to do is just sort of see how it would work. I'm sort of intrigued by it. Yeah, in a way. And to be honest with you, there ain't been much in the game that has intrigued me, so that would be good. And the other thing we were discussing at half-time is whether or not this was a great advert for scrapping FA Cup replays.
Yeah, well, I don't think there'd be too many managers, certainly in the top flight, that would turn around and be against that, if I'm being honest. But then again, Shrewsbury Town will be delighted that they get to play you twice. Yeah. Money-wise, won't they? Yeah. So, it's difficult for those guys. Yeah. I've got to say, they're a good side, well organised. Yeah, they've done very well, haven't they? Here come Crystal Palace. A mistake by Hunemeyer almost allowed Van Aanholt in. He rushed his back pass to Krul, doesn't clear properly, comes out towards this near side where it's gathered by Bong. He clips it down the touchline, looking for the run of Hemed. He doesn't get on the end of it at all. Haven't seen much from Hemed at all tonight, really. And the only things we have seen is when he's sort of misfired a header or hasn't reached a chance. Doesn't look like he's ready to lead the line in the Premier League just yet. 30 years of age, the Israeli scored vital goals in the Championship last season, but only 2 goals this campaign. 6 minutes gone in the second half. TalkSport live at the Amex Stadium on a week of football which is absolutely bulging with action. Tuesday night, Wednesday night Carabao Cup semi-finals. Friday night the Steel City Derby. Saturday, I mean, there's so many games on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, it's frightening. And then Sunday we've got football for you at 1:30 on the Sunday exclusive as Arsenal and Arsene Wenger go to Bournemouth. Here is Hunemeyer out to the left and Bong gets it back to his goalkeeper Krul, clips it high into the air. And he's looking for the run of Baldock, but Kelly comes across, defends well and clears away. He pokes it Soiree into midfield and Cabaye takes over and Palace try to come forward. A bit scrappy now as Schelotto picks it up and sends it back to his goalkeeper. And last year Brighton were one of Lincoln's line of victims. That was in the 4th round. They lost 3-1 at Sinsel Bank. Last year on 3rd round weekend, Roy Hodgson was skiing in Switzerland. Nice. His wife was getting annoyed with the fact that he was in the house too much and decided it was quite about time now for him to go back to work. I'm not seeing Roy as a skier. No? No, I'm not. I'm afraid that Roy's got many talents. I don't debate that, but skiing, I'm not seeing as one of them. Oh, right. Fair play to him. He was on a skiing holiday this time last year. Yeah. At the moment, his team is sliding out the FA Cup unless they can slalom their way back into the match. The ball picked up on the left-hand side by Bong. Goes down the outside, and Saka produces a cross which goes towards the near post. And it was well hit, but it was inaccurate. It was quite fiercely hit, but it was inaccurate, and it goes out and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. We've played 8 minutes of the second half. Are you a skier? I have been, since I retired and worked for the FA, I'd been on 2 or 3 occasions, and went in Canada as well about 3 years ago. I love skiing. Loved it. Never been. Oh, it's sensational. I bet it's colder than this, which is a bit of a worry. I'll tell you what, it's probably not, because you're on the move all the time. You seem to keep warm, even though the temperatures are colder. There you go. Now, so those of you who are thinking about going skiing, there's an advert. Not much happening in the game. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 0. We've played 8 minutes of the second half. And Palace, for all their troubles at the beginning of the season, only a point and 2 places behind their hosts in the Premier League table. When they met in November, there was 8 points between them. It shows how quickly it's come very close at the bottom of that campaign. And you can sort of understand why both these two teams haven't gone at it hammer and tong tonight.
You know, you get 6.6 million quid a year if you're in the Championship, 93 million guaranteed if you finish bottom of the Premier League. So no wonder they want to stay there. Here's Sacco on the outside for Crystal Palace in the left wing position, tries to produce a cross, gets down to the byline, does manage to centre the ball. It takes a deflection off Scalotto and goes behind and away for a corner kick. It's their 5th of the game. You get the feeling he's going to be important, Sacco, if they're going to drag themselves back into the game, Crystal Palace. Here is the corner to be taken by Cabaye. Stephen Reid has come out to the edge of the technical area on the Palace staff and is directing traffic. The ball is headed away by Hemed, who was helping his defence out as that cross came in. Comes back to Fosu Mensah, who's got time to deliver a cross. He switches the play out towards Cabaye. He heads it on towards Martin Kelly. Hunamai gets there first. There's a half-hearted appeal for handball. Then Cabaye slides in with a tackle. It goes out for a goal kick away to our right.
Just going back to the skiing holiday there, Sam, if I might.
Oh, please do, go for it.
Yeah, last time I was skiing was in Canada at the Olympic Park there in Calgary, and we went down the bobsleigh run, not on skis obviously, but in the bobsleigh.
Did you?
If you get the opportunity, fantastic.
Calgary.
Sags has done it as well.
Sags has done it as well, down the bobsleigh run. Four-man bobsleigh run. The Calgary games, was that the games with the Jamaican bobsled team, was it? I can't remember.
No.
Is that the case? I can't remember. It might well have been. Anyway, I'm sure someone will tell us on Twitter. At Sam Matherface if you want to get in touch. Here is Van Aanholt in the centre of midfield for Crystal Palace. His ball forward is aimless and picked up by Goldson. Out to Scalotto down the right-hand side. He's had a few more games in the team recently. It's his 10th appearance of the season tonight, the former Sporting Lisbon and Inter Milan player. It's out to Hemed. Good header this time. Back to Bong, but he's dispossessed by MacArthur. And again, loads of the action taking place in the centre of the field at present. Down on the left goes Van Aanholt, decent crossing towards the near post. Sacco dipped his head towards the ball, didn't quite get anything on it, and it's cleared away by Brighton up towards the edge of the area. It's back with Goldson, who kicks it up towards halfway. Hemed can't control it, and it's back with Crystal Palace again. All of a sudden the Palace fans away to our right hand side, just starting to feel as if maybe their team have grown into this game and they've been better in the second half. Sacco miscontrols, chases it, gives the ball away again, and another turnover of possession.
Yeah, I don't think you can write Palace off. We mentioned it in the first half, and they've got some spirit in the camp now, and they've turned a few results around this season.
And Brighton have conceded from winning positions on a number of occasions as well, which could end up being crucial. And Palace did make a run to the final 2 years ago under Alan Pardew, and that too was set amongst the background of a try to stay in the Premier League. Here is Kelly sending it forward towards Sacco. And Sags has just done the Alan Pardew dad dancing. Izquierdo's chasing a long ball back towards the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area, but it was always under control from Fosu Mensah, who found the goalkeeper Hennessy, who managed to clear. So no real pressure for Crystal Palace. 1-0 Brighton, Hove Albion lead. You're listening to Talk Sport. Ball is with the Bong on this near touchline. There's a bit more intensity about Crystal Palace in this second half. Ball chips over the top though for Baldock, who's onside, moving down the left. He's got Hemed in the centre waiting for a cross. Still Baldock gets to the byline, produces the cross. It's blocked by the first man, Fosu Mensah. Maybe took too long to deliver that. Goes behind and away for a corner kick to Brighton and Hove Albion.
Yeah, I just got the impression there that one or two of the Palace defenders felt as though that was going to be offside, but it wasn't given. I think it was just onside.
Down the left he went dancing into the area. It took too long to get the cross in, really. There was a couple waiting in blue and white shirts inside the penalty area, but by the time the cross came in, Fosu Mensah was across the block, and it's out for a Brighton corner to be taken on this near touchline by Solly Mark.